Hello, and welcome back to Soulstar Radio. I'm Jacquelene Postmore, coming to you live again from my little shop in South Yarra, which it's been quite an interesting morning. I've just literally gotten back in time for the show with maybe 2 minutes to spare from hitting the gym, albeit late. And you could say that's insane, but you should see my work schedule for the rest of the day. So this is why I sort of nick into the gym when I can. You can sort of say, oh, no, another gym bunny. What are we going to do? And it's really not that. It's really helpful to be able to be physically well enough to actually exercise, which for many years I wasn't. And it's also really great for getting the brain and that whole energy for the day started up and firing off on all aces. And considering what time I'm probably going to finish this evening, it's sort of really important to try and get that in because it's that little time for yourself. So whatever ritual you have in the morning, whether that's doing meditation, whether that's doing yoga, whether that's doing some stretching, whether that's going for a walk, whether it's going for a run, just anything you can do, and especially things you can do that remind you of who you are, what your purpose is, why you're here, and that there are good things in the world. That's a really important thing to do because we can get very caught up as soon as we wake up. It's like, first of all, waking up, and the second of all, some people can feel that real dread. It's like, oh, I've got this and that and that and this to do and those people and, oh, my God. And it can really get quite overwhelming if you let it. And even best laid plans sometimes can leave you a bit overwhelmed, particularly if you're a woman 40s plus. I mean, talk about hormones, right? So, and really at any age, there can be points where there's vulnerability and, focus on your energy, focus on helping to heal yourself, helping to remind yourself of what you're doing, not letting things slip too much where you're not giving yourself those daily rituals. Those daily rituals are very, very important. Those daily rituals can be that real meaning between staying focused in your life and where you are and allowing other things to get the better of you and get in your way. So it's just a really good thing to do is to actually be able to go back into, the rituals that help you remind you of what you're doing here, how things can help you. So that's, an important thing to do. Now, I've also had some contact recently from someone wanting to know more about, how to develop themselves. And I get quite a lot of that anyway, but I had a particular lady who phoned in a number of weeks ago and I spoke to her on the show. So I want to say hello and a special thank you to Tammy for actually reaching out to me recently. And I just want to remind you that you can always get a lot of insight off watching A1R Psychic Radio, where different psychic practitioners and mediums and empaths, and I'm one of all three, and there's lots of all three there. But if you're tuning in and you're watching, in the readings that we're giving, there can actually be guides, tips and pointers for how to develop yourself, how to build your confidence, how to get your life back on track. And although the guidance given to an individual caller is going to be specific to them and what's happening to them in their life, there can still be tips and pointers in the reading that we're giving about, things they can do to build confidence or things you might be able to go, yeah, actually, that thing that's been said to that person about how to build their confidence, well, I reckon I could probably use that. If you're finding that there are issues where it's like, oh, look, that didn't really resonate with me, well, that's okay too. It might not resonate right now. It might resonate later. It might be something you're hearing actually to give someone else along the way. So you just never quite know how that can happen. Sometimes it's just like, meh, nah, gone. So, that can happen too. And so I think the thing is just to make use of what you're seeing here and also visit the websites of the different radio hosts. We're on digital TV and radio here, and all of us, all the different psychic mediums, empaths, that either have a show on this network or are visiting the show. Quite often when I've ever had guests, I usually provide a link to their website. And so we've all got different articles on our websites. We've all got videos and little, tips and insights, pointers, blogs, vlogs, any kind of communication you like, really. We're all there, and you can sort of tap into that. And there's lots and lots of free resources you can find through going onto those websites. So the main tip and pointer, the easiest, quickest tip and pointer is when you're wanting to start your psychic journey is to look at how what you're picking up is helping you, helping others. Is it positive messages that can later be correlated with real events, or can the person relate to what you're picking up about them right now? That's always helpful stuff there. And the stuff that's immediately confirmable, we can go, yeah, tick, got that right. All right then. So, all of those sorts of things are ways of developing yourself. But I would actually keep a journal, left-hand side of the page, write in the date, the time, where you were, what you perceived, picked up. If it's a dream, write that down. Dreams can be prophetic. Some of them can be about what's happening for us in our inner world. But some of them are definitely prophetic as well. So if it feels like definitely, that's more of a prophetic dream, you might put that in what we might call impressions journal, where you're writing what you're picking up, and you put that on the left-hand side of the page. If it's more just, inner world dreams, you might actually just, if you dream a lot, you might want to just have a separate dream journal just for dreams themselves. But if we're doing the impressions journal, then daily, things you did today where you went, I reckon around the corner of the street when I get there, the lights will be red, or I picked up they would be turning orange and there'd be a lady with a stroller walking across the footpath. So, as you get those images and as it actually happens, write it down, because it's that old thing of what we pay attention to, we get more of. And so, that can be part of this. You can be manifesting your further correct impressions, but it can also be that you're getting more and more tuned into listening to that voice within you. And so that's a really helpful thing to do. And it sounds so simple that it's like, yeah, and then I don't do it. It's all about practice. Anything you want in life and anything you feel attuned to, you only get better with practice. It's practice that makes you grow. And it's also by being open to asking yourself questions and listening to open and honest feedback and going, yeah, well, I can see how I got that right, or I can see how I got the message, but boy, did I misinterpret that one. That can happen too. It's not the message. It's usually not ever the message that's wrong. It's sometimes the interpreter. And, we can be really, doing good most days, and then there can be days where it's like, now I get that particular message. It was meant entirely that way instead. So, that's where, having the diary and then writing on the right-hand side of the page, yeah, this is how it happened. That's the time, the date, and what happened. Or, well, I picked up it was this, but actually this is how it happened. And, I put judgment on how I thought that would be when I got the impression. And then, yes, it actually came true, but this is how it came true in that other way, according to what it actually came out as. So, these are all things. It's trial and error. It's learning. It's growing. It's regularly clearing your energy. That's a really helpful thing too, because the more you clear energy, the more of a clear mind you've got to be able to filter through all these things and work through them and go, oh, yeah, I can see how that did or did not work and how I can improve next time. One of the worst things you can do is tell yourself, oh, look, I'm just nuts. I mean, I probably say that as a joke because I like self-deprecating ironic humour. But it just keeps me level, But, if your self-esteem is not that great and you can't sort of, and you feel very, very sensitive and you've got a lot of stuff there that can trigger you, then, calling yourself crazy, you want to probably stop that because that's that negative dialogue. That's that stuff that's not really reaffirming, what you're capable of. So just have to think about that. Now, we've also got a caller, very patiently waiting, hopefully there. We have Brittany in Buffalo, New York. Are you there, Brittany?
I'm here. Hi, how are you?
Hello. It's lovely to speak with you, and thank you for calling in and joining us on the show. Now,
thank you so much for having me.
Beautiful. Now, I usually start with the date of birth, and that helps me tune in a lot better. It stops me from picking up on people in the supermarket, quite literally. Am I able to start with your date of birth at all?
Sure, May 19th of 1989.
Lovely. You are the year of the Earth Snake, and that's actually a rather important one to start the show with because I haven't talked about next year. Next year is actually the Earth Pig in the Chinese astrology, and you're actually Earth Snake. And so next year, and this year, 2018, has been the Earth Dog. So we've got we have in Chinese astrology, we have 5 elements. And so we have 2 years of each element, and so it goes around every 10 years. Now, there's lots and lots of cycles with lots and lots of different numbers. Not going to worry about all of those. I'm just going to focus on this one, right? Because this year has been Earth and Earth Dog, next year is Earth and Earth Pig, and then once we get into 2020, we're changing to Metal, which is Ear, which I think you'll like, by the way. But what we've got at the moment, and yes, you will. What we've got at the moment and this year and next year is this earth element. And so I feel in your case it's been, look, you've been doing a lot. You've been working very hard. You've been making a lot of inroads on a personal level there, I feel. But we've been feeling really stuck. It's like we're trying to walk ahead and it's like, oh, my gosh, it's like I'm wearing concrete boots. What is that?
Right.
Well, first of all,
yeah, absolutely.
Correct. It's going to help tone your legs. Just ask any model who wears, those weights on their ankles when they're in high heels, like I'm going to walk the catwalk. And then so when they take the weights off their ankles, they can walk so easily. It's like really, that's why they can walk light as a feather when they're doing that. Because, when they're not on stage, some of them, they're maybe, the more masochistic, ones. Sadistics are the other one. We won't talk about those people. Masochistic will be busy, kind of torturing themselves, I think, personally, although I'm probably just about to start that in my next exercise routine, who knows. But that's why they can walk so lightly on the catwalk, because they're walking with all of this yow. And so for you, it's been a bit like walking around like that. And so I think that you've done really well to stay very upbeat despite things being quite challenging. And I think the thing is that... and last year was incredible for you, wasn't it? It's like boundary everywhere. Staying out there.
Absolutely. Like never ending.
So it's been one of you having to develop a new line of comedy because sometimes it's through the most, interesting experiences that we have to develop that kind of sense of humour, frankly. And I think that, there's a lot of... an incredible growth that has come out of this for you. And I really think that, if I look back, I'm sort of zoom forward, and I look back from 4 years from now, I'm like, yeah, look at that, right? I did that. So I think that all of this work is going to pay off well and surely. And I'm sorry that I'm different.
That's so relieving to hear.
Yeah, it is. Look, I know it's really tough. But, you really are made of solid stuff here. You are very strong and you help other people, and particularly other women, be strong as well, and particularly children around you. And so this is why you'll find as well that animals and children will really be quite drawn to you and feel very safe immediately with you. And why they won't necessarily feel that way about other people that you meet sometimes. And so this year it's really just about you now finding the balance for you right through until this next birthday, the balance for you. We're tightening things up on a financial level and particularly to do with dramas, to do with extended family there. And
really... There's the drama, girl.
So... let's turn that drama into a dharma. Let's just every now and again going, wow, they actually thought that was okay, right? Okay.
Right.
Then, and just throw a line under it and go, woo, moving forward. I'm just not going to, stay in that light too long at all. And next year is a 9 year for you where I think we're sorting wheat from chaff even more next year. And when I look at next year as well, it's like you get to cut a lot of things free, which is actually setting things loose, setting people loose, and setting yourself free is how I'm sort of seeing that. That's why 2020 I'm excited. I actually feel like your work's coming to the head at that point in a very strong way, and I feel really excited about what that can mean for you because you're able to drive forward in ways you've been trying to till now, but you're really going to find that uptick of energy in the response from people is more the point. So this is where there's a lot more support, guidance, assistance, and people investing in you. And particularly when I say the words investing in you, I actually see an older male there that's helping you with things here. So don't be afraid to dream. You've got the practicality to do. People can dream all day, but if they don't do and be, then it doesn't happen. And you're actually putting... Yeah, you're putting the energy into it, you know. Any other questions you wanted me to look at for you?
Oh, I was actually hoping to connect with somebody if we could.
Yeah, look, I think the thing is I'm particularly seem to be drawn to a male on the other side as well as seeing an older male on this side that's helping you when I was talking about investing. I feel as if with you that, the message is to remain strong, and it's really what they've been telling you for a very long time, is to just keep getting back up, to just keep pushing forward, to not let things get to you, particularly when other people are trying to discourage you. That's how I'm seeing this person speaking that message through to you, if that makes sense to you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
There's a lot of love from that person, and they are able to reach you, and to me it's like the biggest warm hug. And at times they're standing right in front of you to give you that hug because you're needing to stop, and you'll feel that warm embrace, but it'll come over here, which normally you would see as, oh, let's go for it because I'm getting the heartwarming feeling. But in your case, it's actually getting you to stop and reflect for a moment. There are other times when, thank you, when they're standing behind you and they're actually, pushing you ahead, and, often we sort of say, oh, look, Spirit doesn't really push you, they don't do that. But, I see this as backing you up, and I do see it as a little bit of a pushing, but it's done with all of this love. And I think the intensity of the warmth coming through is what I'm loving most here, and it's just, that's true. Two conversations. They're talking about, it's always been about respect and self-respect. And, this is what has been really important, instilling in your life. And that's the message that you bring to other people. And it's like they're just reminding you that you're on the right track here. I know that it hasn't been easy. And I do feel at times that there's been grief here for you over this. But I just feel that, you've got a lot of help in the fact that they haven't left you. We all, when we pass over, get to look at our life and review it. Now, some people are like, they're gone and they're back. And other people are like, I've been here for 100 years. And I've been here for 100. And now, in your case, this one, zappity zap zap. And, I definitely see them as being in light of being rather than moping around a bookshop in downtown New York, if you know what I mean, and kind of
in New York. Yeah, that you're really hitting the nail on the head.
Yeah, so you just, I think they have a similar humour to you, and thank God for that, because it really wouldn't have got any of us through life up until us with what's been going on.
I miss him so much.
Yeah, I know, but the love is there and the humour is there, and he's got some other jokes that I really can't repeat on air, but you know what they are. Yeah, I'm like,
that's incredibly accurate. Whatever you heard in your head is exactly him.
Yep. He really likes the good cooking, by the way. He really is up in the morning with honey or maple. Which one is it? We're having an argument about condiments now. Sorry about that. He really likes the pancakes in the morning. It's just oh, yeah, give me some of those. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll have a serving as well. No, I can't. I've got to run 3 kilometres after that. And he's just laughing at me because, he's actually really salt of the earth. He gives a lot of time, a lot of dignity, a lot of effort to the things that are actually really important. And, what is success is what he's talking about. What is success? Success is being able to live a happy life. That's how I see this. And he's quite
absolutely.
That is what he's saying, and that's where he's coming from. And he's reminding you, you are going to be successful. That's an interesting accent. Yeah, you are going to be successful, and it's going to be in the other ways as well here. But he's just reminding you that it's always about just being happy,
That's absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Do you feel any older woman? She was she was younger when she passed, but she would be older, a heavy set, light-haired woman.
Yep. Yeah. I'm seeing a few of them here, and it's like, oh God, which one do I pick? I've just got them lining up. I feel the one I'm really drawn to is heavy set, and she's actually got darker hair, and she can be quite stern in lifetime. And she says, I'm really sorry about that, but it was for a good purpose. And this is someone else than what you're asking for. It was for a good purpose. It was that I just had to get my point across because it's made you stronger anyway. You're not related to that person, but you did encounter them earlier on in life, and they've kind of got the school teacher kind of vibe, and a very interesting hairstyle. Like, it really stands out, and it's I just feel like I'm going up above the head with part of it, and it's, and I'm like being told off a lot, and so this is someone that it's going to take you a while to figure out who we're talking about, but this is not a relative. This is someone that I feel is in the school environment, and she really urgently wanted to get in, and the other ladies let her pass across like in line, like, oh no, you better go first, because you might not get another chance to tell you this. So I think The thing is, you've always managed to look at when people throw you bricks, you've been able to make a house out of it. You've not gone, oh, and they told me this, and I'm telling you 20 years later I'm still in the same story. But she had people that she created change, all right, she got them to learn. But, some people really have that story going on after she sort of, for years later, how bad she was. Yeah. And they're all talking, and I'm like, yeah, no, she did it because she actually cared. Her way of caring was actually to be like that, which sounds really weird in our Western mentality, but and she
sounds Western, like my grandmother, to be quite frank, and she has recently passed.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, this lady, like a school teacher, she's she's
a fireball, that one.
Yeah, I think that's a really nice way of putting it. She's got a heart of gold, but by God, she just felt like she's a school teacher, but everyone she's come in contact with, it's like they'll all talk about her long after she's gone, and she really did irritate the absolute out of people. But it was out of love that she did that. It was out of love she gave, what she's calling corrective.
Corrective. That's a good way to put it.
Wow, yeah.
We'll be discreet on air, but yeah.
Correct. That's why we're saying it this way. That oh boy, I think she just wants to let everyone know that she did this out of love. It was her way of being loving, which is really different to what people normally consider loving. But loving comes in many forms. Apparently that can include being told off and yelled at. But, she's got a good purpose in what she's doing. I was convinced she was a school teacher, but that's okay. That's that thing about getting the right impression, and then, the interpreter, has to kind of be this sometimes. And there she goes, serving us another lesson live on air. Don't you love it? So, how could she not? Frankly, this is her. So, I would say on her behalf, and I'm going to do that, that whatever she said in life, and if people are still, having trouble with that, just to remember that it has actually served a higher purpose, even though it's been at times a bit like sandpaper, and to just to take the good from it. And yes, we don't have to accept all parts of that, but just to take the good from it. And that's what I would say. Thank you so much for connecting there, Brittany. Absolute pleasure to speak with you. You can connect to me on Soulstar Radio on Facebook. Thank you to everyone trying to ring in. Sorry, I can only get through so many calls in a show. There's lots more shows tonight. Do join them and watch and listen, and you'll get a lot out of it. And I thank you very much for joining me. Catch you next week. Lots of love. I won't sing Kumbaya because I think I'll be out of tune today. Bye.